So I guess like many of us in lockdown, it provided us with, lots of stress at times, but also an opportunity to reevaluate our lives, reassess what is important and what we want to achieve out of life. I've worked in social care. I'm a social worker. My background's in social work, and worked in social care for 27 years. Over the last several years in senior management. So, really far removed from actually what I went into social work for in the first place.
Yeah.
Spending time with people, which I miss. And so during lockdown, I started to look at different sort of workflows that I could consider getting into and using that downtime to retrain, and stumbled across Celebrancy, and it sort of really piqued my interest when I began looking into it a bit more, and thought that it could bring me really face to face back with people again at really pivotal moments in their lives. So contacted the AMC and had a call with Jennifer, who really sucked me into it and loved it from that very moment that we had that first conversation. And like many of you probably on this call, you have lots of competing demands of your time, whether that's parenting or caring or working full time. And I too was working full time all through lockdown. And so the training enables you to fit into your existing responsibilities. I moved house, changed jobs, had a lot going on, as I'm sure many of you do have. So it did take me a little bit longer to do the training, and that's absolutely fine. There isn't the clock doesn't start ticking, and you have a finite amount of time to be able to complete the training. So that flexibility really for me was really useful and really important. So I first qualified in the weddings, and then went on to do the funeral training, and qualified in that last August. For me, it's and it is very personal, and you will, if you continue with this journey yourselves, will find your own sort of groove. You'll find what really makes you feel motivated, and for me, it has been funerals. Which it might sound odd to say you really enjoy doing a funeral, but actually I really do enjoy the process of supporting people during what is just an incredibly difficult time. As I'm sure we've all experienced loss, and having somebody who can sort of support you during that time is really important. I feel, having worked in social care for so many years, there's a lot of transferable skills that I've been able to bring, engaging with people, supporting them during difficult times in their lives. And so after qualifying, I reached out to a couple of local funeral directors, and was really honest with them and said, listen, I'm starting out in this. This is who I am. This is what I want to deliver. This is why I want to work for you and with you. And one took a chance, and it just took that one chance, and before you know it, the phone starts ringing, and it really does. I know it's their reputation at stake. Often, as you know, funeral directors, third, fourth generation of the same family, they're well known in communities, and they take a risk when they bring in a new celebrant. But it is really important that you work hard at those relationships with your funeral directors, because if you get that relationship right, it really is beneficial to you and helps you to develop your business. I remember my first funeral last August. It was in one of the most hottest days on record in this country. If you all remember last August, when it was like horrifically hot and everybody was moaning and complaining, and I'm suited and booted in a crematorium. So not only was the temperature making me sweat, but it was the first funeral. So the perspiration,
I'm sure.
The perspiration wasn't attractive, I can tell you. But I got through it, and that was it. I had the first one under my belt, and to get that positive feedback from the funeral director saying, you wouldn't have thought that was your first funeral, my goodness, it was just so uplifting to get that feedback. And that was it. And now I'm fully embedded with that funeral directors. Of course, I'm still working full time at the moment. However, as from the 1st of July, I've taken the leap and gone to part-time in the hope that I can gradually, we've got bills to pay, we all have, but that I can gradually now exit one career and really fully immerse myself in another, and it feels really, really exciting. Just going back to the training, and I think a couple of other people have mentioned that it is such a supportive process, and even though you are studying from home, you did never feel alone, you never feel isolated. I had a really great mentor that was on the end of the phone whenever I wanted to speak to them, would reply to emails really quickly, and perhaps was a needy student. I needed quite a bit of reassurance that I was on the right track, and I got it, and nothing was too much trouble, you know, for the academy. And since that time, you know, the community is brilliant. It's a really close-knit, supportive, mutually supportive community. I'm on a WhatsApp group with celebrants in my local area. We recommend each other if we can't make you know, dates that we've been requested. I had an interesting wedding inquiry, and I wasn't quite sure how to respond. It was something a little bit unusual, and so just put a message out there, and you know, got so much advice back that was really so invaluable. You know, we're all learning, and that learning never stops, but having such supportive colleagues, which I feel we are, rather than, as Jennifer said before, competitors. We're not, we're colleagues with each other, and we're here to support each other. That was really important. And I think for me, just to finish, in terms of funerals, why funerals? I feel it's such an honor to be involved with people at one of the worst times of their lives. And then for me to be able to craft a ceremony that absolutely reflects their loved one who's passed away, and deliver a ceremony that they will remember and their friends and family will remember. It is really important to me, and as I've said, it is such an honor. And you know, some of you here who might be interested in funerals, I think, oh, I'm not sure I can get through it. I feel like I might be overcome with emotion. Do you know what? You're going to feel it, and you are going to feel that emotion. And I do it at almost every funeral. I would say I feel a sense of emotion, but you manage it. And you will be surprised at your own capacity to manage such overwhelming emotions when there's, you know, the most emotional, I mean, they're all emotional, but the one that stands out for me was a 27-year-old young man who died quite suddenly. And there's 250 people in the crematorium. And, you know, to see young men absolutely heartbroken at the loss of their best mate, you know, you can't help but feeling a mum and dad's sat there, you know, burying the young son, and it really does become quite overwhelming, but you find a way to manage that, and you deliver that ceremony with confidence because you draw from all that training that you've had, and yes, you speak with confidence, you demonstrate emotion. And one of the things that I remember, as you can see, I like talking, but one of the things that I remembered from my training was the power of a pause.
Yeah.
I don't like pauses. I don't like silence. I need to fill it with something. I need to talk. But the impact of a pause in a funeral is absolutely mind-blowing. And it might sound really obvious, but the intonation and the phraseology and how you deliver that script, including pause, is exceptionally powerful. So from my point of view, I'm new to this industry as well. I'm still learning. I'm still developing my business. But do you know what? It's the best thing I have ever done. And I love every single family I've been to see, and some are quite characters, as you can imagine. But do you know what? It's such an incredible honor. And I would encourage you, I really would, if you feel like you need to diversify from one career to another or need a new challenge, good luck to you all, because you will not regret it, I assure you. And it's all right when you get in your car after the funeral and you're driving off, it's okay to have a cry then. I often do. So yeah, good luck to you all.